Remember, don't like, share, or subscribe. What are you trying to do? Blow up the channel or something? I got enough on my plate. And welcome back to Flatline. I hope you're enjoying success and health, wealth, and happiness. Do you remember this gal?
In truth, would you recommend that most women follow your lifestyle?
I would not say most, no.
What about your daughter?
Good to know.
My daughter would be fine living my lifestyle. I've trained her from the beginning of how to do it.
Holy.
Wait, what?
Why would you know?
Why would you want to teach your daughter to sell her?
I'm not saying she has to sell her pussy. I'm simply saying I am raising my daughters to feel empowered to make their money whatever way feels good.
That's degrading at all.
That's your opinion.
It's not
your
degrading.
opinion.
It's fact. You know it's not empowering.
Guess what? Guess how bullied my daughters get because they're the it girls.
Because the mom.
Yes! That's our famous OnlyFans psychologist. At least she fancies herself a psychologist. And she spoke very obnoxiously, arrogantly, very unbelievably, self-importantly, I don't know how else to say it, but very confident and overbearing and it's highly obnoxious about really her vast knowledge of how to handle men and how she would teach her daughters to be bad bitches or some nonsense like that. Well, it seems that after that entire episode, and I have clips of that on the channel, check them out, annoying OF gal, it seems all this has backfired. And now you're going to see a very different change in her whole disposition. Let's watch.
Well, I mean, you were also threatening me with filing a lawsuit.
It wasn't a threat. It was a court-mediated process that I have to take.
No, you said you would go file a class action lawsuit against me.
Because I have to. If this wasn't going to be a
Why?
restitution show, because I'm now in a custody situation
What does
because
that-
of the last
I'm
show.
not a party to your
Yeah, but you said you got
custody
100% custody because of it.
Well, I had to take 100% custody because after that situation, my ex escalated in his...
Yeah, but didn't that work out well for you?
No, because...
You gotta love watching the chickens come home to roost. This gal who fancies herself some kind of psychologist, and she very well may be totally unhinged. You went on to somebody's podcast, on the whatever podcast, that has millions of people and tens of millions, not hundreds of millions of views. You didn't do enough research to find out that you were going on there talking about your OF and your sexual exploits and what you're teaching your daughters, and you didn't think that there was going to be some kind of blowback by putting everything about yourself out on this podcast online? Such a celebrated, watched podcast? Are you crazy? And then you could see her whole disposition. She's very like meek and defeated, and I didn't know that this was going to happen. Well, why were you talking about those things on this podcast? I'm going to put links to her appearance on whatever at the end of the video. Let's get back to seeing more of this sheepish, oh my God, what was I thinking? And why would you feel bad? Please.
So I'm not going to give you a more
Well, then
sincere
if we're
apology
doing
than
you reap
gave
as
me.
you sow and you don't want me to move over to Christian ethics, where I usually don't do eye for an eye, and I'm usually a pretty forgiving person, just let things go, right?
I'm sorry that I put my beautiful ass in your lap.
Ugh.
I'm really sorry that made you uncomfortable.
Do you see, this woman should reap what she sows. Now, I believe that the larger story is that she wanted to bring Brian and whatever up on some kind of like lawsuit charges for things that she said on this podcast that had all negative blowback that I guess must have dragged her into court with her ex, custody of her children, etc., etc. She does not, and this is the lack of accountability and personal responsibility for things we say and how we act. And if she's supposed to be an educated person in the modern day, there's still no accountability that she's taking. And she's still talking with that obnoxious, snarky, egomaniacal, self-centered attitude with Andrew, with this whole meek presentation. She's still being a self-centered,